Hey, how's it going? I'm so happy that you decided to come out and hang out with me today. Cheers to you. If you guys are new to my channel, my name is Josh, and I'm a full-time eBay scrounger. I go to places like thrift stores, auctions, garage sales. I go to my local dump. People give me stuff on a regular basis, and I get those items, clean them up, and put them on eBay. And the money generated from those items has been supporting me full-time since 2015. I typically go thrifting about 3 to 4 days a week, and I hit our local dump 3 times per week. And when the garage sales are hot and heavy, I go out there for 4 or 5 hours on a Saturday and try to get as much inventory as possible. A lot of times, I'll even go out to my friend Tom's dump. We usually find some pretty good stuff there. Tom is also a picker and a regular guest on the show. Recently, I ended up getting a lot of inventory from a hoarder house in Cambridge, Mass. So I just haven't had the time to go thrifting every day. And more importantly, I just haven't had the space. We might be going out there one more time, and I'm trying to keep what space I have here saved for that stuff. So for the last couple of weeks, I've been trying just to go to thrift stores once a week. I ended up going last Thursday and didn't go again until today, which is also Thursday. I didn't get a chance to go through the bag of stuff that I bought last Thursday, so I figured it would be fun to go through last week's bag and this week's bag and show you guys what it's like to go thrifting one day a week in rural New Hampshire. So this bag is from last week. I only stuck around for about an hour, and I found a few things, not very much though. I ended up finding this pair of multicolor socks. It's made by a company called Mad Sports Stuff. I'm not sure how well they'll do online. They were 85 cents. I figured I'd give them a shot because it's got a really good color. And the name looked like it was selling pretty good in new condition, but I didn't see any like this. And I think somebody might give me $10 to $15 for them. I also picked up this Polaroid camera. I don't usually pick up Polaroids anymore. A while back, there was a company called Retrospect, and they would pretty much buy any and every camera that you would throw at them for about $25 shipped. Sadly, the Cincinnati Picker went on there and told everybody about that, and then before you know it, everyone was sending in their cameras to them, and then they just didn't need them anymore. But the only reason I picked up this camera is because that says One Step Close-Up. Close-Up is one of the cameras that Retrospect still buys. If it just said One Step, I don't think they would have been interested. I ended up getting this for $4.25. I also picked up this vintage Jvc Camcorder. It uses old hi-8 tapes. It does have the battery and power cable, but I'm not sure if it holds a charge. I paid $8.50 for it, and if it does indeed work, it can sell for between $75 and $100 plus shipping. Last week when I was there, I also found this Pizzelle Chef. I picked it up for $4.25, and they generally sell for between $50 and $100, but you can usually get more for them during the winter time. I've already tested it, so I know it works, so this will probably be a $50 bill plus in my pocket. I think that was all that I got from the Salvation Army last Thursday, but I ended up going to the More Than a Thrift, and I found this M&M phone. They were getting $2 for it, and I saw that one had sold for $15 plus shipping, so I decided to go ahead and take a shot with it. I can't remember if I got anything from the dump last Thursday, though. So now we get to move on to what we found today. Now, today wasn't too bad of a day. The Salvation Army opens at 10 a.m. I ended up getting there at 10:05. And one of the first things I saw out there today was this set of Oster Electric Artisan Clippers. I ended up not getting a discount today, so I paid $5 for these. I'm not really sure how much this goes for. It did have a nice charging base. They're pretty expensive when they're brand new. I'll just have to make sure it works, and hopefully I can get $20 to $25 plus shipping. I also got this Mueller electric mixer. I ended up paying $3 for it. I looked up the sold comps, and it looked like they were selling for about $18 plus shipping, so I figured I'd go ahead and give it a shot. I found this Flowtech utility pump. The box has been open, but when I looked closer on the inside, it looked like it still might be unused. When I checked out the sold comps, I didn't find this particular one, but similar ones were selling for upwards of $100. I ended up paying $5 for this, and I thought it would probably be a good investment. I also found this weed eater string for $1. I think it may actually be used, but when I looked it up, it looked like this particular model was selling for about $20. It looks like most of it is still in there, so I'm pretty sure I can get close to that. I found this little Pampered chef cake tester. It's still sealed in the original package. It looks like they're selling for about $13 free shipping. I either paid 50 cents or $1 for this. This item is called the air hook. I believe it is some type of item that holds your drink, maybe. Honestly, I have no idea what it was. I paid $1 for it. It looks like they're selling for about $18. I found these plastic containers, and they look a lot like food saver containers. In fact, that's actually what I thought these were, but these are actually called snail instead. There's a larger container with lid and a smaller container with lid. And there was also another lid. She was actually getting $3 for it. She actually had this one separate for $1. So I went ahead and dug around a little bit on eBay, and for $4, I think I should do okay. I usually don't pick up a lot of old food processors anymore. I found that the parts usually just sit forever and ever and ever, and that's very true with a company called Scoville or Hamilton Beach. If you find like old 70s machines like that, just leave them. But this food processor actually looked really interesting to me. This is called a Panasonic Kitchen Wizard. Now, I've probably bought 500 food processors over the last decade, and I've never seen a Panasonic. So I went ahead and did a little research on eBay. So when I was doing my research, I noticed that there were a bunch of parts that had sold for really good money. And the good thing about this machine is it has lots of parts. It had a price tag of $6.50 on it, but when I brought it up to the lady at the front, she told me that because of the color, it was only going to be $1 today. So that's what I call a $1 holla. I really didn't want to pick this up for $5. It was actually there last week, and I could have nabbed it for $4.25. And I kind of regretted not buying it last week. And I said, you know, if it's there next week, I'll buy it. So it ended up being there this week, so I picked it up. I've sold a lot of these in the past. Usually they're made by a company called Marpac or Dome. And this one is Sleep Easy. I can usually sell these for about $25 free shipping and just throw them in a flat rate envelope. And the last thing I found over at the Salvation Army today was actually in the back on the table that they were working on. And it was this Ronco 4000 rotisserie. It came with the drip tray. There's a bunch of parts down here, the loading base. There's some type of rib rack. Alright guys, I'm out here and I might have misspoke on that Ronco. I thought this was actually a 4000 model. This is, in fact, a 3000T. I've never found a 3000T, only 3000s, which are usually black. But fortunately, there are some good parts here, okay? It looks like there's 8 skewers, which is about $30. It looks like these rib racks over here are selling. It looks like these doors might sell for like 15 plus shipping. There's some type of rib racks over here. I'm probably just going to knock that knob off and throw away the motor. And this little loading base always sells for like $10, so it won't be too bad. And of course there's the wheels that they always sell for like 20 plus shipping. And the gloves are $15, so we'll do okay. It's not as good as I thought, but it'll be fine. I have a very long history with Ronco rotisseries. I've been selling them for years. I mainly just sell the replacement parts, and I also taught a good friend of mine how to sell them, and he makes quite a bit of money selling them too. I asked the lady that was working back there, I said, hey, do you plan on putting that machine out today? And she told me that the guy that tests the electronics wasn't in, so it wouldn't be going out today. But the question that I was asking really wasn't a question. It was cryptic for, can you please bring out the Ronco to my cart? But I guess she didn't get it, so when I went up front, I told Janet, I said, hey, can you go get that Ronco for me? You're going to end up putting that on the shelf. You don't have the space for it. I'll go ahead and take it off your hands right now. And she was like, what if it doesn't work? What if it's dirty? I said, I buy them broken. I buy them working. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to part it out. And she says, I ought to part you out. And she went ahead and got the Ronco for me and said it's $10. We're actually coming up on the time of year where these probably will start doing a little bit better. Like whenever I see them, I just know I need to get them, even though I don't always want to get them. They're actually a little bit of a pain. You know, you got to take them apart, so you got to use a drill, and then you got to clean the parts, and they usually have a lot of grease on them. When I first started selling them, like 4 or 5 years ago, you could almost sell the parts pretty much overnight. But with everything else, the more people that find out about something, you know, they all get in on the game, so now there's more competition. But really, it doesn't matter because I'm going to sell them one way or another. I ended up going over to the More Than a Thrift store. If you guys are new to my videos or you've not seen me talk about the More Than a Thrift, I don't generally find very much there, and I don't know why that is. I just don't ever find much there. But I went in today and they had these 2 vintage Winnie the Pooh kites. I looked one up and I saw that one had recently sold for about $15. That was the 24-inch. There's also a 42-inch, so I'm assuming it probably goes for a little bit more money. What I'll probably do is put these together and ask between $30 and $40 plus shipping for them. And they're both vintage 90s. So after I left More Than a Thrift, I ended up going to the dump. And when I got there, I noticed somebody donated 2 great big bags full of DVDs. I went ahead and looked through all of them. I wanted to make sure there was no GameCube or Wii or PS2 in there. It looked like most of the movies were mainstream movies, but I found a few items that I was interested in. I found this one old movie called The Women, It's All About Men. It's still sealed in the original packaging, and when I looked it up, it looks like they sell for about $10 to $12 free shipping. This will go media mail. I also saw this DVD up there called King Corn. It looked a little more obscure, so I went ahead and scanned it, and it looked like one sold recently for about $12. It doesn't look like these have a great sell-through rate, but I'll put it up there and probably sell it at some point. When I was going through that bag of DVDs, I saw this obscure horror DVD. It's called Slednex 3, Hell Froze Over. I looked it up. I did not see any solds, but it looks like a seller's trying to sell it for over $150 new. I'm not really sure how much it's going to sell for. I'm going to do a little bit more research, and hopefully I'll make a few bucks on it. I also found this DVD called Def Leppard Pyrographic. It's in pre-owned condition. I didn't see any that had sold like this, but I thought it was pretty interesting, so I went ahead and grabbed it. I also found this DVD up there. Unfortunately, it didn't come with the artwork, but it did come with the cool little blue case. I believe it's called Alfred Hitchcock Foreign Correspondent, and when I looked it up, it looks like in pre-owned condition, they're selling for between $20 and $25. I'm probably going to take a little bit of a hit because there's no artwork, but I think somebody will still buy it. This is actually the first decent carafe that I've ever seen out there. When I used to go to Savers all the time, I would usually find something good out there like a Crux or a Braun and sell it for like $35-40, but I haven't found anything like that out here, so this is a really cool find. So that's pretty much all that I found today. I ended up spending a total of $41. Let me know in the comments section if you guys think that was a good deal. Would you have done that? Would you have probably had to get stuff cheaper? Or would you not have picked up any of that stuff at all? I'm very curious on what you guys would have done. Anyway, guys, I'm going to try to go make room for this stuff. I don't think I'm going to be doing any listing today, but I will be doing some listing tomorrow. Hey, how's it going, guys? It's the next day. It's Sunday morning. Yesterday ended up being kind of a crappy day for garage sales, although I wasn't really expecting to find any, but I did go down to Brattleboro because I wanted to check out my friend's auction house tag sale. But sadly, he wasn't having it yesterday. Instead, he was having a 2 o'clock auction, and Big Josh wasn't wanting to wait around for that. While I was on the way to that sale yesterday morning, Tom sent me a message, and in the message there was a garage sale advert. I gave it a quick scan, but didn't pay too much attention to it, but we'll get back to that in a minute. So I quickly responded to Tom and let him know not to come out to Kevin's sale. I didn't want him to waste his time and gas. So he invited me to come over and hang out. So I went over there and hung out with him for a bit. Tom's a lot like me. He has a real passion for the item. And right now he's trying to clean out his garage so that he can get the family Wagoneer in there. Because up here in the Monadnock region of New Hampshire, we get a little bit of snowfall. But anyway, he ended up giving me a few things yesterday for free. And then we shot over to the local dump, and him and I both found some great stuff. I think he ended up finding 10 hardcover, like old religious books, first edition signed, and he told me that they sell for like over 20 bucks a piece. So that was a really good find. I also found a few decent items, nothing crazy, but I'll get into that stuff in a little bit. So after we left the dump and I dropped Tom off, I decided to go hit my local dump, and I also wanted to go to that garage sale where he sent me that text with the advertisement. Unfortunately for me, the garage sale was right on the way to the dump. So I ended up just driving out there, and when I got there, I found the sign, but no garage sale. So I ended up driving out and looking at the sign a little bit closer, and it said Sunday only 9 to 3. The last time that I recall going to a Sunday only garage sale was back in like 2013 when I had just started reselling. Other than that, I can't recall ever going to one. But I made it up in my mind that I was going to hit this up and I was going to get there early. I ended up leaving the house this morning at about 8:30. When I got up there, it was about 8:45, and I saw the ladies and their kids were all setting the stuff up, and I said, "Are you guys open?" And she said, "Yeah, come on, you can take a look." And there was actually 2 people having a sale, and I found some really good stuff. All right, guys, so I just left this garage sale over here. I know you can't see it too well, but they had a lot of cool stuff, and I found a lot of cool stuff. So just as soon as I get home, I'll show you guys what kind of cool stuff I actually found. See you in a bit. When I first walked up and I saw this beautiful vintage Sunbeam Mixer sitting on the table, my jaw dropped. It came with all of the accessories. I usually sell this turntable for about $18. And of course it came with the mixing bowls. I usually sell a set of these for about $20 to $25 plus shipping. And there is a ton of mixer attachments. There's like 2, 4, 8, I don't know, there's like 4 sets in here. I'm gonna have to make sure they all work for this machine, but these will all sell for really good money. I even sell the rubber feet on the bottom. Unfortunately, this only has 2 out of the 4, and I usually get like 15 to 20 bucks for the 4, but I think I could still get about $12 shipped for those 2 right there. I also removed those parts right there. They moved the position of the bowls, and I usually sell those for 12 to 15 shipped. And I usually sell the motor for about 25 plus shipping. I'll just have to plug it in and make sure it works okay. She did tell me about 5 minutes later that there was a small problem with the mixer. She didn't have the cord, and she was like, "Did you want me to go get it for you?" I'm like, "That would be great." So she ended up like going the next street over and getting the cord for me, which is good because I usually sell those for about $12.95 free shipping. She also had this health and beauty item. It's a Conair. I believe this is the CD15. I've sold items similar to this in the past, but usually it doesn't have this attachment. I believe this actually has several different attachments, but I think these sell for like $17. I actually saw this item sitting on the table next to it, and I knew I had to get it. This is some type of pain relief. It's made by Icy Hot. The reason I know about this is because I recently found something similar to this at the Salvation Army, and it was selling for pretty good money. So I just went ahead and grabbed it and put it in the pile. And I believe depending on availability, they sell for between 50 and 80 bucks. I also picked up this Crux coffee grinder. These don't sell for much. They probably sell for about $10 plus shipping or like $20 shipped. It looks like it's not in bad shape, but it's going to have to be wiped off a little bit. The lady also had this item on the table, and it looked just very interesting to me. It's called a Toast Tight. And I think you like make sandwiches with it. It's definitely vintage. It's got some condition issues. It's definitely not perfect. It looks like there's some issues with the wood. But when I looked it up on eBay, it looked like they were selling for between $20 and $40 plus shipping. So I just went ahead and threw this in the pile. I also got this phone from that lady. It's made for people that are hearing impaired. I talked to the other lady at the sale and I asked her how much she wanted for it. And she had to ask the other lady. I thought it was going to be a couple bucks, but she ended up wanting $5 for it. And sadly, I didn't realize that it didn't come with a power cord until I got home, but I probably have a compatible cable somewhere. I've sold items like this in the past. Usually the items that I sell like this are called Clarity phones. So I've never heard of this before. When I looked it up on eBay, it looked like they were selling for like 50 bucks, but then there's also people selling for 20, so it's a little bit confusing. I'm hoping I can get between 40 and 50 plus shipping for this. I've said it in the past, there are a lot of people on eBay that want to be the cheapest people out there, and that's just not what I do. I work really hard to get this stuff, and I'm not trying to give away my time for nothing. So I'm probably going to list this for $40 or $50 and just wait till the right person comes along. This was probably a bad buy. I don't think I should have gotten it. It is a Kohler shower head, and Kohler usually is a pretty good name, and this looks pretty high quality, but it looked like it was made in China, and maybe that's why it's not going to do so well. But I looked it up, and it looks like they're selling for under $20, like well under $20. This is probably also not a great find. This particular one is made by Delta, and it still has the arm. I think I might be able to sell this for about $15 free shipping. I'm a little bit disappointed. I thought these items would actually sell for a lot more money. So a majority of the stuff that I got belonged to the one lady that was selling items for her aging mother. I ended up paying her a total of $30 because she wanted $10 for the mixer and it was $20 for the other 7 items. So I guess in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't that bad of a price after all. This was also at the sale, but when I brought it up, I was informed that this belonged to another lady, and I asked her how much she wanted, and she told me she wanted $10 for it. I really didn't want it for $10. I've already got a bunch of stuff like this, so I told her that I could give her $5 for it, but I told her if she had to have 10, I can put it back, it's no big deal. And I guess she just wanted to get rid of it, so she sold it to me for $5. So I ended up paying $35 for everything. And I think there's like 4 of these chargers in there, and they sell for about $10 free shipping. They don't sell for a lot of money, so I really didn't want to be into this stuff for too much. And there are some headsets there, but this stuff just doesn't sell very quickly. It does sell, but it takes time, and time is real estate. All right, guys, so I'm over here taking advantage of the decent weather, so I decided to take some photos of those items that I got this morning. I want to try to take photos of things as soon as I find them. That way, at least I have the pictures so I can upload them to eBay, you know, when I'm just sitting around doing nothing. So I went ahead and photographed all of that mix master stuff. I've also got some items down here that I took pictures of. I went ahead and tested this Crux grinder, and sadly, it looks like the motor is seized up on it, but I did notice that somebody purchased just this replacement cap for $15.99, and I'm going to look on Terapeak and see if there's any interest in just the blade, and if there is, I'll go ahead and pull that off too if I can. I also ran into another small problem, and I probably should have picked up on this. I've had experience with this type of problem before, so it was kind of a rookie move for me not noticing this to begin with. These are actually not part of the mixer. You see that groove right there? That means that this Sunbeam Mixer is a single groove mixer, so it'll only take single groove attachments. And as you guys can see, this is a non-grooved attachment. I'm pretty sure that those attachments go to an Oster Regency kitchen center. I'm going to have to do a little more digging, but I've sold attachments that look just like those in the past, and I believe that's what they go to. Look at all those turkey vultures up there looking down at me. All right, let me quit fooling around here. We've got the whole day ahead of us, so let's get back to work. All right, so I did a little research on Terapeak, and I didn't see any blades that had sold, and I also went through about 2 or 3 pages of active listings and didn't see any blades either. And it makes really good sense because this thing looks like it's sealed tight. I don't see any screws or anything, so this is probably not really meant to be taken apart. I'm just going to throw this little piece up there for 15 or 16 bucks and see what happens. This right here is going in the T-Rash. It's supposed to rain today. We may have to bring the party over to the light table here in a little bit, but that'll be perfectly fine because my bulbs came in Friday, so I'm running on 100% light over there right now. Alright, so I'm just taking a little break over here. It rained out earlier, so I had to move the operation inside. Now I'm just trying to clear out the van from some of the things that I got yesterday at Tom's house and the dump. I mentioned earlier that Tom was trying to do a little bit of downsizing in the garage yesterday, so he just handed me a few things and told me I could just have them. One thing that he gave me was this Vega motorcycle helmet. I'm probably just going to put some soap in here and spray it out with the hose and then let it air dry. I looked for sold comps on eBay, and I did find a seller that had sold a similar one, but they took a best offer from $50, so I'm hoping I can get between $30 and $50 for this, plus shipping. He also gave me this old Panasonic Camcorder. I'm kind of a sucker for stuff like this. I have a real soft spot in my heart for old video cameras. I did see a guy trying to sell one, and he had all the accessories, and he was asking like 80 bucks. I'm going to have to test it, and hopefully I can make a few bucks on it. I just kind of like the old analog stuff. He also gave me this box full of miscellaneous items. There's a lot of stuff in here, like Avon perfume. It's almost like the story of my life. I think he was pretty much just over this stuff being in his garage. A lot of the Avon stuff doesn't do very well, but I'm going to do a little research and see if there's any value here. If not, I can just donate some of this to the Salvation Army. Alright, so I went through that Avon stuff that I got from Tom, and it looks like this is the stuff that I'm going to keep. This stuff's not selling for really good money, but I would say like some of it's like $10 free shipping. I could probably lot up some of these boxes that are similar, and that'll probably be the best way to do that. And I threw away some things that, you know, just aren't any good. But I found the base set for that Drunk, Stoned, or Stupid game, so I'll probably just sell those together. This is the only actual money that I spent yesterday. A while back, Tom was at one of the hardware stores, and he picked up 20 boxes of this Raid. He got a really good deal on it. I think he got all 20 boxes for like $16. So yesterday, when he was trying to get all of those items out of his garage to make room, I asked him if he would sell me those boxes, and he ended up selling me all of them for 40 bucks. So he was able to make a quick $24 flip with minimal work, and anytime you can do that, I say go for it. What I'll probably end up doing is making 2 lots of 10. There were some sellers selling them for between $50 and $60 plus shipping, and I'll probably make like 40, 45 bucks after all is said and done. So after we hung out at Tom's house for a while, we ended up shooting over to the dump, and I gotta say, there was plenty of great stuff to find yesterday. One of the first things that I found up there was this really nice set of velvet Clairol rollers. I do need to test them and make sure they get hot, but they did come with the clips, but I generally get about $25 to $30 plus shipping for these. They're made in Denmark, and they're just overall good quality. I also found this over there yesterday. It's an old Radio Shack tape holder. I saw similar ones selling for between $10 and $13 plus shipping, so I just went ahead and picked it up. I also found this old vintage made in the USA Miro stovetop percolator. These are great for camping or hunting. They don't sell for a lot of money. I could probably get between $20 and $30 shipped for it. This will probably sell better during the winter months. Somebody dropped off a big tote full of computer stuff and miscellaneous, like little computer games and random stuff. I ended up finding this pair of Philips headphones. I always buy them if they're in decent shape. This has a little damage to the foam, but the foam can be replaced. You could probably sell these for like $15 free shipping. I also saw this old vintage Microsoft mouse in there. I've sold Microsoft mouses in the past for upwards of $100. This doesn't sell for a lot of money, and it does use that old, I believe it's called PS2 connection. You can actually put a USB converter on this, and it'll probably work fine. They only sell for like 10 to 12 bucks. I also found these 2 vintage made in the USA slide rulers. One is an AccuMath 400, and that only sells for about $11. And one is a Pickett number 120. That one actually sells for about $15. What I'll probably do is put them together and ask $24.95 free shipping. I also found this Aircast Cryo Cuff Cooler. I usually sell these for about $25 plus shipping. I also found this Conair straightener up there. It's called the SS6. I've never seen this model before, but it looks like it sells for about $17 free shipping. There's also a few more sets of hair rollers out there. One was this Remington Care Setter. This one's super gross, and it's going to need quite a bit of cleaning. This will probably get between $17 and $25 once I clean it up. All of the rollers are there, but unfortunately there are no clips. This is also a similar set. It also has all of its rollers, but no clips. I may end up actually selling both of those together. And this is a set of Remington Wax Curlers. This probably sells for the most money, but unfortunately it's missing 3 rollers. I got a feeling these rollers might have some value if I don't sell the whole unit. But right now, I've got to go wash my hands because these things are gunky. I also found this bag over at the dump. It's a Mary Kay dealer bag. It had all of this sales stuff in it. There's a binder that talks about the products and everything. I think some poor unsuspecting lady just bought this stuff thinking she was going to, strike it big and marry Kay, and just ended up having to get rid of it all. I looked this stuff up on eBay, and it looked like none of this stuff was really selling. There were these things right here, though, and there's some kind of like makeup trays, and there's like 3 bags of them. One of them's opened, and 2 of them are still sealed, and I think these are selling for about $11 a piece. So I'll probably just lot these up. I actually thought this bag sold for like $100, but when I was looking it up, it looks like they're really only selling for about 15 to 20. So it'll be something, I guess. There was also a Starbucks Verissimo in there, and I went ahead and just grabbed a few parts off of it because I knew they're going to be throwing it away Tuesday, and I didn't want to sell the whole thing. So I just went ahead and just grabbed what I thought I could sell. I think it's called the model KF. When I did look up the parts, it looked like some of them were selling for pretty good money. I think the tank was selling for like 20 bucks, and there were some other parts selling for decent money. So I think I should do okay. And believe it or not, one of the cooler things I found yesterday were these 2 empty Rubbermaid roughneck bins with matching lid. Now, I know it's not a real big deal, and you guys are probably saying, Josh, what's the big deal? And trust me, it's a big deal. I use these exact models on my shelves. They're my favorite kind of tote, and I saw some guy just walk up and just put them right there at the dump, and so they had to go right in the van. Waste not, a want not. Or maybe it's the other way around. I can't remember. Anyway, guys, I think I'm done for today. I was going to try to work all day and night, but I'm getting tired, and I want to go watch a movie. So I'm going to get out of here. If you guys enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And let me know if you think I did okay at the local dump. We'll talk to you guys next time. Have a great night.